and then they make the decision to room together, or at least Tzarina puts it out there.
I was going to say, Zarina was all about it. Lara
Yeah.
kind of hesitated, but do you think this is a good idea, the two of them living
I
together?
guess it was like the enemy you know versus the enemy you don't know.
That's a good point.
Hi, welcome to Above Deck, a below deck breakdown podcast. I'm Sarah Goldman, a photographer and former marine biologist living in Charleston. With me is my college roommate and co-host Kelly.
I'm Kelli Busby, an executive assistant and former radio host, coming to you from my home studio in Columbus, Ohio. Together, we hosted the Socks with Sandals radio show on WFAL in Bowling Green, and we are back again today, this week. Wow, let me just blah, 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 blah. Together, we hosted the Socks with Sandals radio show on WFAL in Bowling Green, Ohio, and we are back again this week to discuss Below Deck and our love of all things Bravo.
Today we'll be discussing the Below Deck Down Under Season 3 premiere. What is it called? We don't know.
It's a secret. Here's your recap. We are introduced to the Seychelles and a mostly new cast of yachties. Chef Tzarina and Chief Stew Lara are off to a rocky start, and the sous chef wants more responsibility. A deckhand drifts away, and the crew struggles with communications breakdowns. All right, Miss Sarah, how many shackles do you give this one?
I'm going to give it, I was really debating about this. I think I'm going to give it a 6.5. It's hard to rate the first episode just because you're learning so much information, and
Yeah.
I think you could tell this was maybe a new like production company or something.
Yeah.
So it just had a different vibe, a different feel. It just wasn't what I was used to, and it's such a large boat. I felt a little confused about what was going on at any given time. Did you feel that
Right.
way?
It did, it kind of felt like a hotel. Like,
Yeah,
like the
a big
generic
one.
hallways, and like it was big.
Yeah.
That's
So
what she said.
I'll settle in next week and I feel like I'll have a better feel for how this show's going to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Seychelles, we're off the east coast of Africa in the Indian Ocean. Always appreciate, when they give us a little geography lesson.
Heck yeah.
Captain Dreamboat has some goldfish in the wheelhouse. That tank looked like it needed to be cleaned a little bit. I'm not sure
Like
who's
hardcore cleaned. I feel like that
not like the galley.
and the rest of the boat needed a little attention.
Yeah.
I love the opening shot though of him putting in his contacts all by himself. I am so proud of him. And it was which one, whatever eye it was. He always had trouble with it last year. So congratulations, Chef.
I know. Isn't he
Captain.
like sponsored by AccuView or one of these? He got some help.
Yeah,
So
he
that
did.
was cute. So, I mean, contacts are expensive, so good for him.
Yeah.
So, Chef Zarina is the first to arrive. The boat is large. It's very updated. It's beautiful. There is
Yeah.
a piano. There's an elevator. We've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And she's going to have a sous chef this season, so that's exciting. And the galley is large. It looks like a commercial kitchen.
Compared to last year, anything will be better. So it's a beautiful setup, except for the whole being in the basement thing. I also like this season, they have the addition of the temp and humidity tracker on the screen.
You know it's hot when they do that.
Good gravy. I was warm watching it, so that didn't help. So I'll probably have to keep a little fan near me just to.
Yeah. It's too bad they ended Below Deck Adventure because that might have been our only hope to be comfortable on one of these yachts, like if we
Right?
ever went.
Someday,
But,
Sarah, they'll bring
maybe
it
we
back
don't,
just for
don't
us.
really have to worry about it.
That's true. That's true.
So next to arrive is Lara, the chief stew. She's from Cornwall in England, and that's also where Haley lives. So I'm curious if they know each other.
Oh, fun.
So she and Zarina have worked together before on a previous boat. Laura describes herself as Barbie and Zarina as Weird Barbie. This is a perfect description, actually.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Laura says, Zarina is an acquired taste.
Yeah.
And she admits that they did clash a bit previously. And then they make the decision to room together, or at least Zarina puts it out there.
I was going to say, Zarina was all about it. Lara
Yeah.
kind of hesitated, but do you think this is a good idea, the two of them living together?
I guess it was like the enemy you know versus the enemy you don't know.
That's a good point.
I guess. I don't know. It does not seem like a good idea. As we know, and we've said many times, the chef and the chief stew, like that's a
Yeah.
tricky tricky relationship anyway, so to not be
Yeah,
able to get away from each other. Okay.
absolutely.
So the bosun is Vian, I believe that's how you pronounce it,
I think that's right.
from South Africa. And then we have Adair, who is the deck stew from Georgia.
In her green screen, she's telling this story about her going on her first boat and thinking how she was going to be kidnapped. I love this kid. Like, I love it. Because that's exactly how I would think. Be like, no. So,
It does sound crazy when she's
yeah.
like, "Hey, I know somebody with a $20 million yacht and they want you to like go work on." I mean, it does sound insane.
Yeah. Go out
So,
into open water for months on end. Come with us. It'll be great.
totally. And then we have Brianna. She is a stew and she's from New Jersey, a
Okay.
model or former model. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Anthony, why can't we ever pronounce the H in Anthony?
I don't know. It's different, right? Like
Yeah, it's like a silent H. Okay, so
yeah.
Anthony is the sous chef from London. Zarina's excited because another English person, they have a fun sense of humor about them.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully he will. Marina, who is a stew from Brazil. She's a ballerina or former ballerina.
That's so cool.
And then we get Harry returning, very exciting. And he now has his dive instructor and his yacht master certifications.
And his eyes are as blue as ever.
Did you think he seemed a little nervous, like more aware of the cameras or something? This is his second season.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's a little bit more. Yeah, you're right. He's
Aware.
more aware.
Yeah,
Definitely
because
more
he's
aware.
watched himself. This is like the second season curse for the housewives. They always act differently the second season.
Yeah.
But hopefully he'll kind of settle in and forget that the cameras are there. Okay, then we have Johnny, a deckhand from Greece, who my first thought was like, wow, this guy's good looking. And then he kind of opens his mouth.
Oh,
He introduces himself as lead deckhand.
yes,
Harry.
yes, yes.
So Zarina and Anthony are getting to know each other, and she is interviewing him. Like, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And she has, her notepad. She's taking notes, and he cannot think of any. And he
That's
says,
a red
well, we'll
flag.
find out, won't we? Yeah, totally. It sounds like she wants him to do the crew food and clean, and then maybe by the end of the season, she might let him make some guest food.
So I like the idea of her interviewing him. They got to know each other, right? But my red flag alert system was going off when he was getting a little grumpy about her asking him questions. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you guys are going to be working together. I mean, shouldn't you know each other a little bit before things get crazy and then you're get mad at each other because you don't know? So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, is this more of a male chef thing? Like, do they just show up and work and then they learn who their teammates are? I don't know. Chef Marco, Chef Ryan, Chef Dave, chime in, let us know. Do you think Zarina's in the wrong for asking these questions? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And since I've never worked in a kitchen, like I don't know what
Right.
the like decorum is, like how it should be. I think it's reasonable that they get to know each other, but I think she kind of put him on edge right off the bat. One, because it felt like an interview, and two, she like made a joke about, oh, you're gonna be cleaning the whole time. Like, eh,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah. That's more like kitchen help. Sous chefs are actually the ones who do all the cooking, usually.
Right.
So,
Okay, so we have an all crew meeting and we meet the engineers and the first officers, aka the people that aren't young and pretty enough to be on TV, but they make the boat go. The boat is called Katina. It's 60 meters. We previously have said that this is the largest yacht we've had on below deck. And the galley is all the way downstairs, 3 levels down from the sun deck. So that's going to be a challenge. And the first charter is tomorrow, of course.
surprise. Those steps and the heat. I'm telling you, this crew is going to have amazing legs and butts after this season. They're going to be awesome.
And they're going to be mad at each other.
Well, yeah, it's already starting.
So the deck team gets to cleaning, and Johnny seems to think he's in charge, like, of everybody right off the bat.
It's funny. I like his accent. I don't like his attitude, but I like his accent.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And he's pretty to look at so far.
he is. Yes.
So Lara has a meeting with the stews, and she has decided not to assign a second stew just yet.
And I think we're learning that this is the best way to go about things, at least for the first couple charters.
Yeah, I think so. So Harry asks the bosun about Johnny being lead deckhand, since that's how he introduced himself. And Vian says, no one is lead deckhand yet. And he will make sure he addresses it. And he does. Okay. This is the point where I texted you, like, puke emoji. The galley is nasty.
Oh my gosh.
Zarina finds maggots and weevils in the food, and everything has to be thrown out and bleached, sterilized. Disgusting.
They have to buy new bins. They have to. Oh, and just seeing all of that stuff thrown away, it was just horrible. It was so gross. And you texted me to warn me about this part of the show as they were showing me the bugs. I did stop eating dinner at that point, so.
Gross. I hope you weren't having grains pasta. I need to know who the chef was on this boat previously, because they need to never serve food to humans again.
Right? Oh my gosh, it's insane. They better hope nobody finds out who it was, because they'll never work again. My goodness.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, we have our first preference sheet meeting. The primary is Mark from Brisbane and his vegan partner, Megan. You know,
Sarah, we have our first vegan.
Yes, our first vegan. And Carla and Lanes from the Aft Deck podcast are from Brisbane. So I'm wondering if they have some kind of connection to these people. We'll have to find out.
So cool.
Okay, they want a global tasting menu, and they want all the water toys.
Cool.
And the stews are all working together in the cabins, and Brianna says she's a Four Seasons type of girl, and her dad does everything for her.
Same girl, same. Except I'm more of a Holiday Inn kind of girl. Not a Holiday Inn Express, just a reggae Holiday Inn.
Okay, got it. So Brianna and Marina discuss who they think is cute amongst the crew. And Brianna likes Harry. He's given off golden retriever vibes. And Marina likes Vian's smile.
I agree with the statement about Harry being a golden retriever. He's sweet, he's lovable, he's fun. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Anthony stays up till 1 a.m. cleaning the galley.
So I feel like he has regrets about joining the boat.
Yeah, so far it's not what he was thinking.
No.
Okay, the next day, provisions arrive. Everyone keeps talking about how hot it is.
On a happy note, I did see noodles, so they will be good to go after their first night out.
Absolutely. So the guests arrive. They have the boat tour. The cabins are really big. One or several of them have a balcony that, like, opens up.
How crazy is that?
It's so cool. I was wondering, why did Laura volunteer that the crew unpack for them? Like,
She wasn't going to have to do it.
yeah, I guess that's a good point. But this boat is so big and there's so much going on.
Yeah.
All of a sudden there's a metal tricycle sculpture with hors d'oeuvres on it being carried up.
So I remember Zarina's appetizers from last season, like the welcome appetizers, and they always were so pretty and yummy looking. I just hope we don't have to see the tricycle anymore, though. That it looks like it's very challenging to carry with food on it up the stairs. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a lot. It reminded me, my mom used to have this planter in her front yard that was a tricycle that had like flowers in the basket, and flowers on the seat, and flowers. Very cutesy.
Yeah.
Not my style.
I know what to get you for Christmas.
Oh, no. Well, Brianna is unpacking. She finds some, let's call them dropping anchor toys in the guest suitcases.
Yes.
And she calls Lara to ask, like, where do I put them? So what would you do, Kelli?
I think it would depend on the kind of mood I'm in. If I wasn't in the mood to be goofy, I would just leave them in the suitcase and, like, tuck it away. But if I was in the mood to be goofy, I would have made a display out of them. Like a Pen 15 towel, but like they would have been like laid out all pretty with
Oh,
the.
that would have been hilarious, actually.
I mean, if you're going to
That's
be
great.
okay with us unpacking your stuff and that's in it, we're going to make it. Like, it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I would have just left him in the suitcase, but that's me. So the boat gets anchored at a beautiful location. The scenery in the Seychelles is insane.
I wouldn't go there, except it just looks too hot. So I will enjoy the videos and the
Yeah.
pictures that we're seeing. Um, Another new addition to this season is the stair counter. Holy moly, they're doing a lot of stairs. I mean, like
Yeah,
hundreds,
it's a
almost
lot.
thousands
Too
in
bad
a
that
day.
elevator's so slow.
Oh my
So
gosh.
the deckhands stow the jet skis, and Johnny gets on one, unties it from the floating dock, and he starts drifting away on a jet ski. And he doesn't have the key to start it, and he had just left his radio on the dock. And so Harry and Vian are up on the bow. They can't hear him whistling for help. It's starting to get dark. Someone should always be on the swim deck, right? When
I
like
would think so.
anybody's out there. I mean, that's what they do for guests.
Yeah.
Also, why, Johnny, did you untie the jet ski before checking that like you could start it? Like that's rule number one with any kind of
Because
boat.
Sarah, he's the lead deckhand, right?
Yeah. So Harry and Vian have to get him with the tender, and
Yeah.
Captain Dreamboat sees what's going on, and he says Johnny is floating to Madagascar, and he'll let it slide as long as it doesn't happen again.
He kept saying, "Welcome back, Johnny. Welcome back."
I mean, he obviously thought it was funny, but it's like if this
Yeah.
happens again, we're gonna have an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now it's time for the around the world dinner. I love all
Yeah.
the maps and globes. Great table decor by the
It's
Stews.
beautiful.
So the first course is from Italy. We have a watermelon strawberry gazpacho. They're very happy with that. The second course is Indian, also very saucy, soupy.
Yeah.
Vegan is very happy.
Yeah.
The third course is from Thailand.
Okay.
And when it's ready to go, where's Lara? Can't find her. All the courses are looking like soup at this point.
Yeah.
And Laura is having to make sure the stews get more spoons.
They all looked like soup, didn't they? Why was that? It's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
Huh.
it wasn't initially what Zarina had planned because she was going to do that noodle dish or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Something must have
mean,
happened.
it's a little weird to have like 3 soup courses.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So Brianna tells the boys about the goodies she found in the guest suitcase, and she
Yeah.
said there was enough lube there for 3 months.
Harry was so excited for some gossip about the guests. He almost like jumped out of his seat. He's like, "Tell me."
Tell me, tell me. Okay, now the fourth course is a creme brulee, which also looked a little bit like soup.
Everything came in bowls. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Nothing will fill up a dishwasher like bowls, that's what I know. Okay, the next day, breakfast feels very chaotic. There seems to be
Right.
some confusion about the time. Now,
Yeah.
the night before, they told Laura 8:30. 8:30 is when they want to sit down to breakfast.
And I think
Some of
they
the guests
told
are up
Zarina
and
that too.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And some of the guests are wanting it at 8 a.m. They're getting hungry. And meanwhile, Laura seems to be stuck in the elevator. It is not working, so she has to come out. Now they have to carry all the platters up all those flights of stairs. And now all of a sudden the egg orders are starting. And Laura tells Zarina the orders, and Zarina is perplexed because she was planning to do family style and then offer a special like Eggs Benedict or whatever.
And I realize this is the beginning of this season, right? Like
Yeah.
first one, but this is not a good start between
No.
the chief stew and the chef. So I didn't appreciate the guests that the one guest that was getting amped up about having breakfast at 8 a.m. Like, and then the clock said 8:19 and they were still asking where breakfast is. And something like, "Yeah, well, they said 8:30, so where is everything?" I'm like, they must be on time like my dad reads time. Like if he needs to be somewhere at 11, he leaves and it's 10 minutes away, he leaves the house at like 10:15 to make sure he gets
Okay.
there in case they hit
Oh my
a
gosh.
traffic light.
You know, they say the rudest time to show up to a party is like even 1 minute before the party starts.
That's me.
Because
I'm
that's when
always
we're
there
running
early.
around trying to get all that last minute stuff done.
Heck yeah.
So Harry is now cleaning cabins because the deck stew, Adair, is dealing with jet skis. You know, this deck stew thing never works out.
I cringe every time that they say they're going to do that.
Yeah. How about just have another deckhand and another stew, maybe, you know?
They have the room on that boat. Good gravy.
Yeah. Or just have another deckhand and they can help out an interior like, you know, the deckhands are supposed to, or,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Tzarina is now stressed, and I have to say, I agree with Anthony. She should be utilizing him a bit more. He
Yeah.
can certainly make scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
And then they cut to Laura crying in her cabin. There's just been a big communication breakdown, and, you know, it's the first one. They're getting to
Yeah.
know the boat. They're getting to know working together. So,
Their legs hurt. Oh,
yeah, their legs are exactly. This is a rough start. So on the preview for next time, we see maybe there's going to be a love triangle forming, and there's going to be a difficult docking, and it looks like some issues between Adair and Lara.
oh Lord. Here we go. All right. Well,
we go.
season 3. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's take a break and we'll come back with Hot Tub Combo.
We are supported by BetterHelp. The start of the new year brings you 365 days of new possibilities. What do you want your 2025 to look like? Think of therapy as your partner, helping you plan the next chapter of your own life.
If you want to start your therapy journey in 2025, join BetterHelp's over 5 million users worldwide. BetterHelp is fully online, which helps make therapy affordable and convenient. And you can easily switch therapists at any time for no additional cost.
Write your next chapter with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/abovedeck today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/abovedeck. It's time for Hot Tub Convo, where we discuss what's happening with our favorite Below Deck cast members.
We need your 5-star podcast reviews. Our rating has dropped to 4.5 on Spotify, but we are clearly a 4.7.
Clearly.
I blame competing podcast. If you aren't sure how to rate and review a podcast, send us a DM. We'll happily walk you through it. And if you send us a screenshot of your 5-star review, we will mail you an Above Deck sticker anywhere in the world. That simple.
Anywhere. We're still rated pretty high on Apple, so I don't know. Somebody's trying to take us down on Spotify. So, yeah, you guys help us.
We need your help.
We are a 4.7 podcast,
That's right.
if not a 5.0.
I mean, you know.
Okay, so Kelly, did you know that Gail and Nathan from Below Deck Med are still together?
No, they're not. Are they
They are
really?
still together. They're still traveling together and posting funny videos. And I love that.
I do too.
Love that for
and they're
them.
like super far away from each other, right?
I think so, but
Yeah.
I mean, at least they seem to be traveling together for now. So,
Oh, I love that for them.
yeah, they're so cute.
I love that for us too, because
Me too.
yeah. So Chef Marcos and Chef Lewis. Mm-hmm. Okay. Chef Marcos and Chef Lewis closed their restaurant Toast and Rice in LA. And I wonder what these twos have. I'm sorry. I wonder what these two have going on now. Did you go? Was that the one you went to?
No, I went to Marlou or Lumar.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Marlou?
Marlou, yeah. I do know that Marcos is still in Indonesia with Colin. Still waiting for our invitation, too, to join you, Colin. Just saying.
That's right. It looks like they're having a great time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I am curious what's going to be next for these two. They've had, I think, 3 different restaurants together, plus, you know, like a catering business.
Heck yeah.
So I'm glad Marcos is kind of getting some time off to just hang out with his friend. And
Yeah.
I'm sure the crew of Parlay is eating so well. You
Right?
know?
It's got to be so good.
Yeah. It's time for our segment, Join Me in the Wheelhouse, where we decide who needs to see Captain, who are we? What? Oh, Jason. Captain Jason for a stern talking to. Kelly, who are you going to call to the Wheelhouse and why?
Yes. I'm going to call the chef from the previous charter.
Oh, yeah.
And why? Because gross. He did
Chef
not clean.
Maggot.
Chef Maggot. I like that.
Chef
Chef
Weevil.
Weevil is kind of funny too. How can you do that? Like, how do you cook like that?
How?
Ew.
Just
So get up
rude.
here.
I mean, they showed like the sides of the stove and stuff,
Oh,
and
it's
there's
so dirty.
food like caked on, and just to
Yeah, it
leave
was
a
gross.
boat like that, I'm sorry, that's just not acceptable.
No.
Good
Agreed.
choice. That's it for this week's episode of Above Deck. Thank you to our team at Hurrdat. Thank you to our producer, Joss. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to tell a friend. And please rate and review us 5 stars only.
You can follow us on Instagram at abovedeckpod and email us at abovedeckpod@gmail.com. And you can always watch our episodes on the Hurrdat Entertainment YouTube channel. Until next time, I'm Kelli Busby.
And I'm Sarah Goldman. We'll see you next week.